Friday. I think we started recording. Scotty Rudder for Festival Focus. Dave from Cheltenham. Bit tired, never mind. We've done the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is mainly focused on Scotty because you're all fed up of listening to my opinion, but it's not really much of a show if I don't say stuff, is it? I know I'm the fans' favourite. We've done the 3 days, as I've just said. We're going to go through Friday now. We'll cover the races that I like. So we'll be swerving the handicaps, probably the Fox Hunters we won't say much about in this particular day. Obviously, as the days go on, I think it does get a little bit harder. So very interested to know what Scotty's thoughts are on the Friday. We'll obviously do it in chronological order because why wouldn't you? Tritonic, mate. Started up in the Adonis today. He's got himself into second fav behind Zanna here. What do you make of the Triumph Hurdle? Have you got any bets on? Anything you fancy?
Just Zanna here and a few multiples. Just because I want to be on the bandwagon when he wins, which I don't know if he will now, but I've been a Calixios fan since day one. I just think the new course is going to suit him down to the ground. He'll just stay. And he's been beating the same horse as Zanna has been beating. But I think Tritonic today he was good, but again, I think he wants further. I'm not sure how good that race was today. He just looked like he was getting niggled. He was getting niggled, and he picked up. And I don't know if the others just stopped or he did quicken, I think. But I just don't think Cheltenham's going to play to his strengths, and I think it's going to come too soon. Like Solo last year just blew up, didn't he? Same kind of race movie. But the one I think everybody's forgetting about, and I'm convinced this is a machine, and that's French's Seal for the Donnellys, who bought him after he won. He's only one run. I just really am excited, and I just think everyone is going to forget about him. He'll drift on the day, coming down the hill. Zanna here will be there. Qualixios will be pushed along. He'll be trying to get into the race on the finish, and I think French's Hill will go past, and I think he's going to actually shock a few people here. 8-1, it's ridiculous. I think he should be a 4-3, even 3-1, but vying for favouritism. I think if he had one more run, he would be. He's definitely the one for me that I'm interested in.
Scotty, mate. I thought we need to start off with some arguments. I put up. It's almost like you're just going through the anti-up selections in there, and my anti-up selections have been terrible. So I don't think this is a very good thing for you. But yeah, French's Hill, I agree. Price-wise, he's the one I want to be on. And Tritonic, I didn't watch it back straight away. I was messaging Daryl after because Nap came in, decent shout, and then he was right about Kate Gentleman in the Dovecote. So I just wanted to ask him how Athol Street went on before I watched it back, and he said, "Mate, just go and watch Tritonic." And I have watched it since, and there's no way you can't be like impressed because of the fact that he like kicked on a bit. But I'm very much in the same camp as you. When I watched it, I want like the one in second is definitely stopping, and that maybe that makes him look like he's going a bit further away. Then I was looking at Nichol's horse that was in third, that just wasn't really travelling at any point in the race, and just looked like that was just plodding on towards the end. And I don't know how much extra he took out of him. Like he probably did pull away clear, but I don't think that's worthy of him being a 7-2 poke now. And like you say, the Solo thing last year, like I'm not 100% sure he's as good a trial as like we'd like to think it is, but the Triumph does look pretty like one-dimensional, doesn't it? Like it looks like it's Zanna here, Qualixios, French's Hill, so like those three Irish trio that have been around those prices for a while, and then it was probably just begging for something to win like that did, because the market needed to be filled in a bit. I wouldn't say that like Tritonic isn't going to win the Triumph, but I don't think Tritonic's going to win the Triumph. So
the record in that race is 4 as well. You've had everyone says, "Oh, the Adonis shots are great trials." It's not. I mean, Soldotino and Zarkando. Then you go back. I think it was Adam King's other horse, 2005. Can't remember its name. Elgin Colours, the elite company. It doesn't produce many winners. I think it comes too soon after the race, really, for me. 4-year-olds, 3 weeks to recover. It's quite tight, you know.
And it was quick ground as well, wasn't it? And I looked, because I did the Colossus preview with Daryl yesterday, and I said to him, like after his Ascot run, I said, I want to take on this Tritonic. I hadn't really looked at the cards, just snowed down my life. I said to him, mate, I'm going to go for him a bit now, but I said, I can't see anything to take him on with. And I said to Daryl, like, have you found anything to take him on with? He's like, mate, no, I've been looking as well. There isn't anything to take him on with. And the one that fell, I can't remember what the name of it was, when Here's to Saul won. Here's to Saul got battered by Cabot Cliffs the other day. So like the depth of that form looks pants. The Nichols horse that was in third, like I said, was being niggled the whole way round. and like there's nothing really to go on to make that look good. Like it looked a really shit Adonis as far as I was concerned. And then I looked at the ground, and the only horse that I had a box ticked on the ground was Tritonic. Everyone else wanted slow ground. So again, the fact that he's quickened on it because he likes good ground, he's an ex-flat horse. It comes to the thing that when it comes to Cheltenham, I think if the ground was slow, he's got no chance at all. I think if the ground came out like proper good, which it isn't going to happen at Cheltenham, but the quicker it goes for him, the more chance he's got. But more so, I think, because it's going to inconvenience others as well as the fact that he'll like it. But yeah, I wasn't like like he'll be a nice horse for the future. I've got no doubt about that. But I don't know whether he's. I can't have him as a triumph horse personally.
No, I don't think he's going to win it personally. He could be like Brunetti, Nicky Place, but I don't think I got spent anything to win it. Simple as that, really. No,
he's a nice horse though for definite, but yeah, we're not on that. So French Azil, mate, in agreement on that. Superb. Zana here. I'm the same as you. I backed him. I think I backed him the week that Gavin Lynch put him up, and I think I backed him the week Gavin Lynch put him up because I know a few people that are on him from the start of the season at monster prices. Because I missed the boat a bit, I feel a little bit reluctant to get stuck into him. And although the time people were going mad about his performances, I wasn't overly sold myself. And then I thought, you know what? At some point, I'm going to have to just get him on the team sheet because he's going to shorten up, which is what I did. So I'm glad I've got him for cover, but I don't know. I prefer French Azil. I would have liked to have seen French Azil come out and have run again because we are basing it off the back of that one run, aren't we? But that's the reason we're getting the price that we're getting, because if he'd have come out and run again and been impressive, he'd be no value anymore. So, boom, similarities, mate. Right, it does get more competitive as the week goes, or so as the day goes on the Friday. I'm interested to know your thoughts in this potato race, mate. The Albert Bartlett. What do you fancy in here?
Two. I backed the first one. I backed was. I don't think they're going to run. That's the problem. So I'm going to be quick. Farouk Delen. He hasn't got a flashy profile, but if he runs, I'd still stick with him. I just think he's a grinder, and I don't know if he's ground dependent or not. I'm not sure. The best horse, flashiest horses don't win this race. Everybody knows that. You have to have a horse as well with experience. The other one I came down on was the Cobb after his performance at Doncaster. But he needs to be supplemented, so I wouldn't be too sure. If he turns up, I'd definitely back him. Out and out stayer, he looks like he could be a staying chaser. But out of the market principles, I'd probably just slightly prefer Fakira to Spatler. I just think he's been running in races that have been very competitive. Both of them have, but it's not a strong opinion. I just think I backed Fakira at 14s, I think, before the last day. Not a massive opinion on the race. I don't think Barbados Bucks is quite good enough. I think it's the big Bucks colours connections that has probably affected the price going quite short. But apart from that, I haven't got a strong opinion on the race, and never normally do.
It's one of them that's very often easier to back it on the day. The year, again, I love just after timing, didn't I? The year I put Kilbrick and Storm up, we were there when he won on trials day. A group of lads came up to me and said, "You're Dave from Cheltenham, will give us a tip." I was just like, it's like when people see a comedian in it, like, tell me a joke. I said, like, normally I'll just say to people, oh, well, it's like, go and check out my page or whatever. I said to him, Kilbrick and Storm, mate, stepping up in trip. It was the first time he was going over 3 miles. I said, like, this horse will absolutely shit home. I'd had a few beers. I was being really, really bullish about it. I'd already backed him anyway. And then he was like, no, my mate says something else is going to win or something like that. And I was like, no, well, I'm telling you, you asked for a tip and that was it. Basically, it won, obviously. So I was excited. Straight after that, I got onto Paddy Power, backed him at 25s for the Albert Bartlett. Basically, other ones had suspended, and I actually probably could have got a little bit bigger. But anyway, backed him at 25s. Saw Matey Boy as we were walking out, and I was like, well, just thought maybe might get a little thank you or something for tipping the winner. Didn't really make any eye contact with me, was almost avoiding me a little bit. So I thought, oh, fucking, you know what, I'm going to go over and give him a little pat on the back and say, wee, well done, the Kilbrick and Storm. Didn't even fucking back it, did he? Went with his mate's one. What's the point of asking me? But anywho, the point of that story is not to rub in the fact that I tipped yet another winner, probably my only second winner I've ever tipped. But Kilbrick and Storm went off at 50s on the day, and I backed him at 25 to 1 post. So I fucked myself over, right, didn't I? So yeah, it's worth waiting till the day. Farouk Delanan, I don't know whether he is going to come now. I was still hoping he would. So who knows? And the Cobb with the race that he won. Exploiter for Graham McPherson was in behind, and when I went to their yard, they were talking about the horse, the River Don, wasn't it? The race that he won, I think. No, that was the more recent one. Well, that was the River Don.
Albert Bartlett trial at Doncaster, yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
it
I
was
would
the
say.
River Don, wasn't it? But yeah, we talked about that Graham McPherson's, and they were just saying about how this horse on bad ground is just like a relentless stayer. And on that day, I think I got 6-4. He was to place in the top 4. So I watched the race for the fact that Lily Pinchin got to the front a little bit too soon on Exploiter, but the horse battled on and stayed well. But because he drew so far clear of the cob, I just looked at him and thought that's a filthy performance. And then off the back of that, I had a look to see what price he was for the Albert Bartlett. He was in the betting again, but just noted to be supplemented. The fact is, if he does get supplemented, which I'd be surprised if they don't. He's going to shorten up automatically, isn't he? Because people will look at it and think, why would you pay a load of money to supplement a horse, like sort of just for the sake of it?
The owners can afford it as well, obviously. You know what I mean? So it's not out of the realms of possibility.
No, and it's just one of them that just sits it in. He's 20-1 now. If he doesn't run, then who cares? Get your money back. If he does run, it's as far as I'm concerned, that's automatically going to shorten up. And his form of that race, I think, is pretty strong. To be fair, so yeah, nice one. I've ruined the whole of Friday's episode by warbling about the Ballymore thing on him. I'm tired. It's Scottish show anyway, isn't it? Mate, it's the big one. We finally made it. 7 hours later after we started this recording, we've made it onto the Gold Cup, blue ribbon event, the pinnacle of Cheltenham, and the winner is
Plutarch.
oh, controversial.
And this is why. He's going to be the first horse in history that loses first time out to Castle Grace Paddy and then wins the Gold Cup. No, I just think his win in the novice handicap was obviously very good. That was 2 years ago. But then he stepped up to 3 miles, and I think it was Bell to Work that beat him at Punchestown. And I just thought, absolutely hard over 3 miles. No, just don't do it ever again. And then with the travels, he was just such a big price. I think that they went so quick up front, Mellon and Camboy, didn't they? But Appley he just screams like he's just matured. And he obviously, what they were doing, running him over 2 miles out of the season, was just obviously not suiting him. In the Ryanair last year, I just thought he was beat so far out. But then he just kept staying on. And I think the 3 mile 2.5 is just going to totally suit him. I just think everything in the race, I think Champ, he impressed me last week. He's jumping. I definitely give him a chance now. I was totally against him last year. Albion Photo he cannot win a third Gold Cup. If he does, it would be so disappointing. I think personally, just like for the whole of National Hunt racing history, he'd be the worst horse to ever win a bit of major race 3 times. He doesn't deserve it either, does he? Like racing at Trumall once year and then coming up and winning a Gold Cup 3 times. That's going to sound really bitter, and I'm going to upset a lot of people with that. But the form of the race last year, Santini is. I wouldn't even let him anywhere near my house if he was my horse. I just don't like him. He was second. Lost in Translation is lost. He's rubbish. He was third. Monolith fourth. Is he really an out and out stayer? And then you've got Delta Work, who obviously doesn't like Cheltenham over fences. He can't jump very well. And then you're going further back in that race. Real Steel was there at the last year, and Albion Photo had to make his own running, 7 furlongs from home to win the race. I don't think he's going to win this year. I think Athlete Tide's going to pick them all up, and Frodon. I'm going to get laughed at for this one, but I actually think Frodon's got a chance of placing in the race if the ground comes up good. I actually think he has got a chance. Everybody's like, "I'm Bryony this," or we don't want to listen to Bryony on TV, but you've got to hand it to her. She's fair play to her. She knows what she's doing with the horse, and there's not probably a jockey and horse that go as well together in National Hunt racing. And if the ground is good, Native River won't really be effective in the race. I think he might finish 5th or 6th. And I really honestly think Frodon and Athlete Tide could fight out the finish, and Manella Rendo, if he gets these jumping together, could even pass Albion Photo up. I think Albion Photo has a place later this year.
Oh, what a shout. Well, it only took until Friday, the Blue Ribbon event, to get some controversy. So many things to pick apart there, Scotty. Plutard and Frodon, my personal take on it would be, we talked about So Royal Politolog match bet. I'd have the fucking lot on Frodon to smash up a Plutard. Like I personally think with a Plutard, it would have more chance in the Champion Chase than it does in the Gold Cup. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Like he's notoriously bad first time out. So I know he got turned over by Castlegrave Paddy. I think that race where he was behind Kenboy, like Delta Work was out when and then Minetta Indo was out early. Like I don't know how strong that form is, but obviously he looks like he stayed there. So could be wrong, but I'm not sold on a Plutard. Album Photo, I get what you're saying, mate, about the triple Gold Cup winner, given the fact that he's not really won the races as well as he. And I showed some clips of Album Photo. I've put it on the YouTube page. Like, can he win his third Gold Cup? He's obviously much better now, but remember when he was a novice. I know it wasn't the horse's fault, but I think he fell or unseated in a novice chase to begin with. He fell and broke Ruby's leg in the RSA, and then that Punchestown where Paul Townend thought he saw a ghost or whatever it was. That was like horrific. That's nothing. No problem for the horse there, but like he's got it in him, I think, to balls up. Now he's a decent jumper now. He sort of stole the race a little bit last year, just from a better ride from Paul Townend, I think, than Nico de Boinville. Like I reckon Sandy would have done him with a better ride, but that didn't happen. And Paul Townend will know how to ride him on the day as well. I think he could win it, but I get what you're saying about maybe wouldn't be the most worthy of Gold Cup winners, because he has, like with Calto Star and them, when they're going to smashing up like a long list of honours in other events as well. Like the long list of honours for Album Photo is in one specific race in it, whereas not like he's dotting up in the Savills Chase every single year as well. But that's probably why he was able to be a dual champion, like dual Gold Cup winner. We know lots of Gold Cup winners, lots of them don't even like win a race after. So I think he deserves to be up there. Yeah, a Plutard, I'm massively against you on that, mate. I'd do that. Where you said place lay Album Photo, I'd place lay a Plutard. But do you know what, Froden, mate, kills me, because one WhatsApp group, I'm in with a group of people that I go racing with. Worst thing is they're probably the group of people that would actually watch this. Put Froden in the WhatsApp group, right? And the case that I made more was based around the fact that I don't know for definite, but I don't think any King George winner that's gone to run in the Gold Cup has ever gone off double figures. And we're talking about horses like fucking Clan de Zobo that probably doesn't really get the out and out trip, which we could argue about that with Froden in a minute. But there's other horses that have won the King George that don't like Cheltenham, like Froden does. And you touched on with a Plutard there. Obviously, got beaten a Ryanair. Froden is a Ryanair winner. I don't know, he was behind a Plutard last year. He won that Cotswold Chase, didn't he? Where he beat Elegant Escape, who we know is an absolute like full blown Dower stayer. With the ground tightening up a bit now. Again, we talked about it earlier on with some other horses. Like the horse to back at this very moment for the Gold Cup, without doubt, is fucking Froden, mate. 14-1, nominal no bet. Like he's going to go here. Whether he is fully capable of winning the race or not, I still have my slight reservations. But like I say, we know how much he just loves it round there, and I'm not that worried about the trip. The only thing I'm slightly worried about with the trip is whether he's quite good enough to do it at that extreme distance. But quite like him. Yeah. Hate you're a Plutard one. Hate a Plutard.
It's just Frodon. If he gets on the front end, he can take horses like Champ. Even my horse has Plutard. Album Photo is not the best jumper. If he starts pinging fences, they're going to start panicking if they make the odd mistake, aren't they? Obviously, Royal Pagaille as well. If he turns up, what chance would you give him? I think he'd have a big chance as well, personally. It's just waiting whether he turns up or not, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I'm not massively sold on Royal Pagaille myself, but if obviously the ground came up shit and he was to run here, then he'd have a chance. But I think more so because it would inconvenience other horses. This is where else it's balmy as well, mate. Royal Pagaille, he's won handicaps. He's 8-1. Froden, festival winner, won that Cotswold Chase. He's just won the King George. He's 14-1. Like, what are they? Like, why are they so offensive about Froden? Just leave him alone. But I didn't back Froden the year that he won the Ryanair, even though someone gave me some abuse saying, someone put a post up about, I think it was a picture of the horse, then someone commented underneath, and it had loads of likes. Someone commented saying, such a shame there's not as many grade 2 handicaps for horses like Froden. And I was like, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And hundreds of, like, not hundreds, but loads of people liked it, like the majority of people on this post. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, Froden, the reason there's not like enough races for like what you're classing him as a handicapper, because the handicappers put him weight, is he's shown that he's too good for those types of races. He should be going and winning like grade 1s. I said he will win a grade 1 without doubt. They laughed me off of that page. And then the guy that put the post up in the first thing when he won the Cotswold Chase texted me and said, he will win a grade 1, won't he? And then obviously he won the Ryanair, and he said, You were right, Dave, weren't you? And not again. This is not all about me just saying that I'm right or whatever. But I just think Froden's one of those horses. As much as he's lovable, like you touched on with Bryony, there are lots of people for whatever reason don't like it, do they? They don't rate her. They don't give her any credit for it. Like Froden is a decent fucking horse. He won, like I say, he's a Cheltenham Festival winner. He won the King George, regardless of what we say tactically or anything like that. He won the King George. Can't take that away from him. Yeah. Too big a price. Look at us going in on everyone else about Froden. What a time to be alive. If anyone made it to Friday, then you're in for a treat, aren't you, to watch that? Rewind that. Keep watching the Gold Cup. I'll just loop it. For the other races, mate, on the Friday, I'm not too fussed about the Fox Hunters myself.
I'll just give a quick word. In that one, I think Bob and Co. is the winner this year. I think Billaway's probably just the connections just get his reputation. He's a decent horse, but I'd be laying him. Bob and Co. I don't know if Shanty Fly is still going. If he turns up, he's normally consistent. But Bob and Co. I think is the solid one this year. I like Bob and Co. as well. He was 20s before he ran last weekend. Did a weekend preview and said that was the time to back him. I wouldn't even put people off backing him now. Like, I think he's a nice horse, especially with Maxwell not being able to be on. The thing is, that was part of my thing that I said about it. And this is no offense to Maxwell, like I said in there, he's got bigger balls than me, but he's not even like the best amateur. He's getting better, but he's a bit of a hindrance on horses. Again, it is offensive in it. Sorry, David Maxwell, because I know you like to tune in. Shanty Flower, I think, is going Kim Muir, mate. Like him in the Kim Muir as well. I've seen him in there, so that is my Kim Muir punt then, isn't it?
Look at us go, smashing it, haven't we? And then what else have we got? We've got County Hurdle. We've got Martin Pipe. And there's one more?
Yeah.
Mare's Chase. Oh, no, fuck the Mare's Chase. Fuck all of that shit. So, County Hurdle, mate. Anything you like in there?
Not really. Again, till the weights. I never normally do well in this one. I think Pictory is entered. He ran okay the other day. I think he was decent as a fences, and he's obviously gone back. I think he would have beaten Chantry House that first day he came down, but he's just one I've got my eye on. I've given him a chance to Kadzand if he ran here. I think he was shit the other day, wasn't he, at Newbury? But again, not really excited about the race just yet.
So on the county, Pictor, I backed him any race at the start of the season, just thinking I want some cover for behind Shishkin if he went Arkle, and potentially want some cover behind Envoy if he went Marsh. And obviously he's not scaled those heights. I think he might also have an entry in the Coral Cup. But yeah, I think wherever he goes, like it's going to be hard work. I think he's mid 150s, but I quite like him. So wherever he goes, I'm semi-interested in him as well. And then Kadzand, mate, this is almost scripted the way that we agree on stuff. Kadzand, I fancied him for the county hurdle. A mate of mine said, if you backed him for the county, you want to back him for the Betfair hurdle. I was like, they're not fucking running him in that, are they? And he said, no, they are. So I backed him for that, for the fact that he was like, well, the fact that I backed him for the county hurdle, if he ruined himself in the Betfair hurdle, I'd have been annoyed. So I just had a small interest on him there. And he was bad, but because I fancy him for the county, I think Dan Skelton wanted him for the county anyway. I'm quite happy just to ignore the Betfair run and just somehow weirdly just say they just ran him there for the spin, because it was obviously, we have to remember, it was rearranged and moved on by those 6 days. So that's an extra week of preparation for Cheltenham. And I know this will all sound bizarre, but who's to say that Dan Skelton didn't have him tuned up for the week before? And I know there's 6 days difference, so he should better keep him fully wound up. And then decided, you know what, fuck it, it's a week closer to Cheltenham. Let maybe ease off a little bit now, and then we'll save his mark for the county because he might be overboiled, or they might have already intentionally not wanted him to win the Betfair hurdle, or he may just be off a mark that he can't win now. But Kadzand in the county, like if they actually do run him there, I fancy him.
It could happen. I mean, look at Wicklow Brave. It was different circumstances when he didn't start that day. I mean, horses can run in handicaps weeks before and do nothing, and then turn up and rock up and win. It could happen.
And then Martin Pipe, anything in there you like?
Wide receiver. I think he wins. He's been running in these graded races. Not to win, obviously. Whether he's good enough to win those races is a different question, but it's like the Column of Fire. It's like the blow by blow. I know Column of Fire didn't win. He would have won. Blow by blow, Champagne Classic, Don Poli, Sode Champ. They target the race. He is definitely back for 10. He is going to go off 4-1 on the day. Absolute certainty to go off 4-1 or shorter. He is really the one I've had on my radar for some time, and it's falling back in favourites, but I really like him. I like him.
And I don't think it is boring back in favourites. You look at last year's festival, loads of favourites got beat, but loads of favourites won in the handicaps. And you're right, 10-1, I still think is a fair price about him. I mean, I've backed him slightly bigger in the summer, but you'll bang on. He'll go off a lot shorter than that. So can't disagree. Fuck, I mean, I don't really care. This is just agreement, isn't it? It's good to agree. Mares Chase. I mean, I couldn't give a shit about the race now. They might as well just cancel it. They should cull it. Bring back the Close Brothers. What's the point in running it with no Benny?
They should bring back the Close Brothers. Yeah, Benny would have pissed us, but Cole Reevy was the one I liked. She's 50-50 to run, isn't she? She might run, trying to think where it is, somewhere in Ireland, Limerick maybe? I can't even remember where it is. Graded Mares Chase they have. But I think Willie said the other day she deserves a chance to run. I actually prefer her to Ellie May. I just think Cole Reevy's a beast, but I just think Ellie May is good as well. But I'd rather, out of the two, I prefer Cole Reevy. And if something was, this is a crazy shout. I mean, a crazy shout. But the race is so shit. Anything can happen. Cabaret Queen could be one that could rock up at 40-1, and she could run into a place. She started favourite for Ladbrokes Trophy pretty much a year and a bit ago. She's not that bad a horse, and she always runs consistently well in most of these handicaps. Shattered Love is another one that she ran a really good race over the trip. That was just a bit too short for her last against Ellie May. I'd Dutch those two each way and just hope that something goes wrong with Ellie May. But the Cole Reevy turns up, would definitely be back in.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's one of those races that I feel like it could be. Well, it's already been a bit of an upset, the fact that Benny's Gino, but it could be a race where we get a bit of a wild prize winner in there. Cabaret Queen's interest rate 40s, bet 365 are non-one or no bet. So again, just for the sake of sticking a couple of quid on for a bet, if she does turn up, could be good. Yeah, I think that wraps up. Do we, or is there anything else?
I think we've covered most of it, haven't we? That's all good.
Beautiful. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time out to speak to me, Scotty. I also really appreciate you for making me feel better about lots of horses that I've put up. The bad news is, mate, we're either both going to have a reasonable festival or we're both going to have a really bad one. So I hope it's not the latter, because I'm on a streak. I think it's about 14 years on the spin now where I've hoovered up, although only hoovered up marginal profits last year. So fingers crossed it's going to be good. Thank you for anyone that's watched, and good luck at Cheltenham.